Hello everyone, I'm Rajni Purohit. So in the previous video, Fiber to Fabric Part 1, I had told you about one animal fiber, that is wool. Today I'm going to take one more animal fiber, that is silk. So we will be discussing about silk in this Part 2, Fiber to Fabric. Silk is what? Silk is a natural animal fiber which we get from insects. Basically, it is a protein. So, we will discuss some major points related to this, and they will be as follows: sericulture, discovery of silk, different types of silk, life cycle of silk moth, rearing of silkworms, and processing of silk. So, before we begin with our today's topic, let's just recall what we have done in our previous part 1, Fiber to Fabric. In that, I have told you about animal fibers and I have divided it into two parts, that is wool and silk. Wool we have discussed earlier. I'm just summarizing it to recall you. Wool is a natural animal fiber obtained from animals, and we have discussed in the last part how it is obtained, the processes involved in it. Today we begin with second topic of animal fiber, that is silk. Silk is also a natural animal fiber obtained from specific kinds of small creatures or insects called silkworms. Silk is a high priced fabric, mostly worn on special and auspicious occasions. Especially shawls, saris, dupattas and kurtas are most common garments which people used to wear on these occasions. Silk is a soft, fine, strong, lustrous fiber material which is obtained by special kinds of insects called silkworms. Especially a different species of it, that is Bombyx mari, is utilized to obtain silk from it. The process to obtain silk from these insects is known as sericulture. There is a story related to discovery of silk. I'm going to summarize it, and also I'm going to provide a slide which will tell you more clearly about this story. Once in the past, about 5,000 years ago, in China, first of all silk was discovered. According to a Chinese legend, the Chinese empress was sitting in the garden and she noticed about some white worms on the mulberry trees. And these white worms were silkworms. They were eating the leaves, and one of the silk cocoon dropped into her cup of tea. And finally, how the silk fibers were discovered. Now this we will see in this upcoming slide of the story of discovery of silk.
Silk is one of the most prized fabrics in the world. Most people love to wear silk apparels on special and auspicious occasions. Silk is obtained from silkworms, which are cultured on commercial scale to obtain silk. But have you ever wondered that how this fiber was discovered 5,000 years back by the mankind? According to an old Chinese legend, silk was discovered by a Chinese empress. She found some white worms eating up the leaves of the mulberry trees in her garden. She noticed that worms were spinning shiny cocoons around them. She collected some of those cocoons. Accidentally, one of the cocoons dropped into her cup of tea. She noticed that the cocoon was actually made from a long thread that was both strong and soft. In this way, the fiber of silk was discovered, but Chinese guarded the secret of silk for over 1,000 years.
You have gone through the story, and I hope you find it very interesting. And it is clear to you that how silk was discovered first of all. Now let's discuss some different types of silk. In different states and countries, different types of silk are found. The most commonly found silk are mulberry silk, tussar silk, eri silk, and muga silk. Let's discuss in short one by one about them. Mulberry silk. This silk is commonly found all over the world, and China is the first leading country in this production. After China, India holds the second position. About 90% of the world's production, mulberry silk occupies the main leading position. This is soft kind of material, and this is generally obtained from mulberry silk moth. After this, the second position is of tussar silk. It is very similar to mulberry silk, but it is a little bit finer and softer than mulberry silk. The third is eri silk. It is comparatively heavier in texture. The fourth, muga silk. It is generally confined to the Assam state of India. And other than this, some other types of silk are also found, that is sea silk, kosa silk, cone silk, and spider silk. Life cycle of silk moth. The life cycle of silk moth involves 4 stages. Number 1, egg. Number 2, larva. Number 3, pupa. Number 4, adult. So let's understand about this life cycle of silk moth. First of all, silk moth, that is female silk moth, lays eggs on the mulberry leaves. These eggs, on favorable conditions and temperature, they lays eggs, and on hatching out of these eggs, larva comes out of it. The larva which comes out of it is known as caterpillar or silkworms. This is the second stage of this silk moth. After coming out of the eggs, caterpillars or silkworms continuously feed for 3 to 4 weeks on mulberry leaves and starts growing in size. After this time period of 3 to 4 weeks and growing in size, this larva is now ready to move into the third stage of the life, that is known as pupa. This pupa, then it starts growing and weaving a fiber around its head. This is a protein which is secreted by pupa. The pupa starts moving its head from side to side in the figure of 8, in form of a figure 8, and continuously secretes this proteinous substance, and afterwards this protein like substance, it takes the form of threads, that is known as silk fibers, which becomes hardens when it is exposed to air. The pupa continuously secretes this substance and it makes a cocoon like structure on its body. After the cocoon, the larva or the pupa, it enters the fourth stage of the life, that is adult or the moth stage of the silk moth. In this fourth stage of life cycle, the total development of the adult or the moth taken inside the cocoon. When the cocoons are totally developed, they are taken to the factories and then the silk threads are separated from it. Different types of silk moths are utilized to produce different textures of silk. As we have discussed earlier, that kosa, muga, tussar, mulberry silk, they are having different textures because they are obtained from different types of silk moths. So their texture is sometimes coarse, sometimes smooth, sometimes very heavy, and sometimes very fine and shiny. It totally depends on the breed which we are selecting for obtaining silk. Now one more point is there related to it, that is silk can be produced artificially also. How it is possible? Natural silk is obtained from the silkworms and it is pure in state. But sometimes artificial silk is also produced in laboratories with help of some chemicals. Now the question arises how we can differentiate between an artificial silk fiber or a natural silk fiber. A very simple test for it is take a artificial silk thread and a natural silk thread and burn them separately. When you burn an artificial silk thread, you will get a pungent smell and it will not be crushed into ash-like substance. But when you burn a natural silk fiber, it will give you a smell of hair burn. Why this is so? As because the natural silk is made up of protein. That's why when it burns, it smells like a hair burn. So this is the basic difference between a natural and an artificial silk thread. So this is all what we have discussed about the life cycle of silk moth. After this, we will discuss about a new topic, that is processing of silk. Processing of silk. Processing of silk, this process involves the following steps. The number 1 is reeling of silk. Number 2, exposure to heat. Number 3, reeling of silk. Number 4, dyeing. And number 5, spinning and weaving. Let's discuss all these points one by one to understand how silk fiber is obtained from the eggs or the cocoons. Let's start with the first point, that is rearing of silkworms. In this process of rearing, silk farmers or the rearers, they rears the silkworms or insects, and in this what they do, they first of all collect the insects and rear them for a time. After this, the female silk moth, it lays hundreds of eggs at a time. These eggs are then stored on a soft, clean, clear paper or a soft cloth. These eggs are then stored under hygienic conditions with taking care of suitable temperature and humidity. When the temperature is suitable or it is warm enough for the eggs to hatch out, the larva comes out of it. This is caterpillar or silkworm which is now coming out of the eggs. These caterpillars or silkworms, they now feed on mulberry leaves and enormously starts growing in size. When they starts growing in size, these larvae are transformed to bamboo trees or trays. Then these bamboo trays, they are provided with some small cell-like chambers. These silkworms, they start eating and feeding there on the freshly chopped mulberry leaves for near about 3 to 4 weeks or a month. After eating for a month, they stop feeding and they move into the cell-like chamber of bamboo trays and they start spinning cocoon on their outer side of the body. And as they start spinning the cocoon, the racks or twigs are provided inside the bamboo trays so that these cocoons, they can attach to it. Farmers take very good care of these silkworms at this stage. Once the cocoon is completely spun, they are taken out and then the second step is followed. The second step is exposure to heat. In this step, the cocoons which are spun by the silkworms, they are taken and a pile of cocoon is exposed to the sun or either boiled or it is given exposure to steam. By this act of exposure to heat, the cocoons start untangling and the threads starts becoming separating from the cocoons. After this, the third stage comes, that is reeling of the silk. In this third step, the cocoons which have entangled and loosened the threads, these threads are taken to the machines. These machines unwind the fibers from the cocoon and then they are ready to roll down upon some reels. After this, the fourth step starts. This is dyeing. Dyeing is a process in which the silk threads are dyed into different colors so as to get the desired color of the silk fibers. When the silk fibers are dyed in different colors, now it is ready for spinning. Here we start with the next fifth step, that is spinning and weaving. After this dyeing, the threads of silk are taken and spun into threads. These long threads of silk fibers are now ready to be woven into different clothes or garments. It can be done either by the hands or weavers, or directly machineries can be used to wove these silk threads into different types of garments. So this is all about the processing of silk, and hope you understood that how silkworms are used to obtain silk fibers and how the silk fibers are then woven into clothes or garments. Related to this silk industry, a common fact is there which you all must be knowing, and it should be important to discuss here, that a lot of females are involved in this industry. These women are involved in different kinds of activities such as rearing of silkworms, reeling of silk, and separating the threads from cocoon. So we can say that female plays an important role in the Indian economy of silk production.